More fantasy castle cards, and there's just two on this video today, and this one I'm starting in a very random sort of chaotic way just by putting primary colour bands onto the iron and then ironing along. Now what I'm doing here is just messing with it. I haven't preconceived what I'm going to do. I'm sort of waiting to see what might turn up, and well, it's taken the shape of a basic sky landscape, you know, light at the top, dark at the bottom. So take a block, a little bit of colour on the edge of the iron, and then every now and then flick up to make those spires. The more finely you can do that flick, then the more perfectly those spires look defined. The scribing tool is that little thing that you scratch away the wax with, pointed at one end, bladed at the other. And all you're doing here really is scratching through to the card. I'm just highlighting what's already there and now developing a pathway. And what this does is it enhances the perspective. It sort of draws you in. It gives you a pathway literally for the eye from where you're looking to where you want to arrive to, or where I want you to arrive to. And just to sort of blend that in a bit more, I'm going to use the tip of the iron here and just touch the wax so that it all looks nice and blended in. Make sure the strokes which define your path are horizontal, parallel to the bottom of the card. Otherwise, visually, you'll fall off that path. And I noticed a little spot there, do you see it? And if I just flick on that, one way and the other way with the spot of wax, I can create birds. So I've hidden the little spot that was above the spires by flicking first one way, then the other, to create these little birds. So there's the step one done, but of course there's always more one can do. And so just by applying a little bit of abstract effect, simple patterns made with the iron, which are easy to do in themselves, but which add a great deal of dimension to the actual final work. So they really give a foreground impact, and that creates an abstract chaos turned into a fantasy castlescape card. So, clean iron, more wax, another card, new opportunities. One of the great things about encaustic art being handled in this way, in quite a fun way and an imaginative and open-minded way, is that it's always interesting and intriguing to actually see what turns up. So I've got light colours in the middle, dark colours all the way out to black on the outside, and I'm just stroking the iron over the wax card. Now quite often I find that I start out in a creative process picking up on ideas that I've already used recently, and I did this filming with the first set of 4 straight iron edge cards. So I'm using that approach in this environment where I've got the dark bands enclosing the light, and it sort of gives a city feeling. Another thing that you can do with encaustic is just keep going over it. Same card, more wax, or the same wax. So this time I'm just lifting very, very gently on the back edge of the iron as I go along, stroking across to see what type of forms will emerge. And each time I'm looking and thinking, can I use that? Is that any good? What sort of environment can I create out of that? When the card sticks like that to the iron, it's because I'm pressing a bit too hard on the front and it's drying out and then getting stuck. But you can see the castles are popping up naturally all the time. So I'm taking a bit more wax and going to lay that over the top of this and keep continuing to investigate and notice what effects I get. Now I've been doing this for a while, so I think, yeah, maybe it's time to actually finish this into an image. And I've chosen that background, a sort of an organic, dribbled background, and again turned it into a landscape. So it's time for detail, and the Stylus is obviously the perfect tool to use. It's low heat, it's designed for drawing lines, making spots for sort of shading, colouring in, applying wax in fine graphic ways. This particular tip that I'm using is a bit poorly set, and what that means is that the tips of it are a little bit too closed, so the wax is coming out in a rather scratchy way. But I pushed on for a little while and did these first 2 castles with it, just as it was, and then decided that it was time to open the nib out. And all I'm doing is, I've got a penknife in my pocket, so I'm just slipping the knife through the blade to open it out. and then it flows much better. Because I was actually filming it, I should really have gone back and spent a bit more time refining it, because the quality of your tools will determine the quality of your output, and it pays to make sure that the tip is set perfectly. If it's too open, the wax will come out too quickly, and if it's too closed, it's quite hard to get the wax out. So take time to learn to do that. Now with the castles, you can see I'm putting in larger bases and then skinnier spires, so the weight of them is at the bottom, and I'm seating them onto dark areas so that they sit there naturally. The spires are always parallel with the edges of the card, because that makes them look upright, and then they're not falling over. And here I'm working, and it's turned out that that sort of landscape has turned into a sort of a cliff against an ocean perhaps. And these castles are lining the cliff, looking out to the ocean, the sea of life. So that's my stylus work done. Give it a quick polish. And there we are, 3 castles. That was that one. But next time I'm going to be showing about scries, which is using that sort of dribbling background effect and developing it more fully. So these castles come from the base of the yarn, and I just scratch them in, just using the scribing tool. So if you're interested in that, look out for that one. More fantasy castle cards. I'm Michael Bossum, thanks for watching yet again, and hope to see you next time. Bye.